Lesson 129. Verb plus infinitive or ing. In English, if a verb is followed immediately by another verb, what form must the second verb be?
In English, if a verb is followed immediately by another verb, the second verb must be either an infinitive or a gerund.
Tell me some verbs that are followed by an infinitive, please.
Ask, agree, refuse, manage.
Tell me some verbs that are followed by a gerund, please.
Deny, avoid, practice, miss.
Is the verb promise followed by an infinitive or a gerund?
The verb promise is followed by an infinitive.
Give me an example, please.
He promised to try harder next time.
Is the verb consider followed by an infinitive or a gerund?
The verb consider is followed by a gerund.
Give me an example, please.
You should consider buying a new car.
Afraid of. Afraid that. Afraid to. Crash. Why do you suppose some people, especially children, are afraid of the dark?
I suppose some people, especially children, are afraid of the dark because they imagine things that are not there.
Why are some people more afraid that they might get killed if they travel by plane than by other means of transport?
Some people are more afraid that they might get killed if they travel by plane than by other means of transport because a plane crash is front-page news.
Give me an example of the word afraid used in an apology.
I'm afraid I can't help you.
Whiskers. Gap. Fence. Hedge. For what purpose does a cat use its whiskers?
A cat uses its whiskers to measure the width of a gap in a fence or a hedge to see if it is possible to get through the gap without using force and making a lot of noise.
Do you think it's a good idea for students to have a gap year between finishing school and starting university?
Yes, I think it's a good idea for students to have a gap year between finishing school and starting university.
Why?
Because they can see some of the world.
Do we have to mind the gap between the train and the edge of the platform at some stations?
Yes, we have to mind the gap between the train and the edge of the platform at some stations.
Hall. Entrance. Town hall. What's a hall?
A hall is a large room.
Give me some examples of different types of hall, please.
Entrance hall, etc.
What's a town hall?
A town hall is a large building that is used for local government and public meetings.
Pool. Liquid. Indoor. Outdoor. Indoors. Outdoors. Out of doors. What is a pool?
A pool is a small amount of liquid that has collected in one place.
Give me some examples, please.
A pool of water, a pool of blood, etc.
What are the advantages of an indoor swimming pool?
The advantages of an indoor swimming pool are that the water can be heated more easily and one can swim in it in any kind of weather.
Which do you prefer, an indoor or an outdoor swimming pool?
I prefer an outdoor swimming pool.
Do you spend most of your time indoors or outdoors or out of doors?
I spend most of my time outdoors.
Knee. Kneel, knelt, knelt. What do we call this joint of the leg?
We call this joint of the leg a knee.
On what occasions do people kneel?
The occasions on which people kneel are when they say their prayers, etc.
Late. Lately. Who was the leader of the late government in your country?
The leader of the late government in my country was Gordon Brown.
What do we mean when we speak about the late Mr. Johnson?
When we speak about the late Mr. Johnson, we mean the Mr. Johnson who has recently died.
Have you seen any good films at the cinema lately?
No, I haven't seen any good films at the cinema lately.
Match. Judo. Do many women like to match their handbags with their shoes?
Yes, many women like to match their handbags with their shoes.
Do you think a small man who was good at judo would be a match for a big man who knew how to box?
Yes, I think a small man who was good at judo would be a match for a big man who knew how to box.
Are football matches usually held at the weekend or during the week?
Football matches are usually held at the weekend.
Funeral. What colour clothes do European people usually wear for a funeral?
European people usually wear black for a funeral.
Mystery. Do you like reading mystery stories?
Yes, I like reading mystery stories.
Path. Why do we have a path in a garden?
We have a path in the garden so that people don't walk on the grass or on the flowers.
Insure. Insurance. Theft. Is it the law in your country that everyone has to insure their car against accidents?
Yes, it's the law in my country that everyone has to insure their car against accidents.
Do you have any insurance against loss or theft for your personal possessions?
No, I don't have any insurance against loss or theft for my personal possessions.
Throne. What do we call the chair a king or queen sits on?
We call the chair a king or queen sits on a throne.
Annoy. Fly. Fall asleep. Does it annoy you when you're watching a film at the cinema and someone in the audience keeps talking?
Yes, it annoys me when I'm watching a film at the cinema and someone in the audience keeps talking.
If a fly was flying around your head while you were trying to fall asleep, would you get annoyed or would you be able to ignore it?
If a fly was flying around my head while I was trying to fall asleep, I'd get annoyed.
Sore. What do you think is the best thing to do for a sore throat?
I think the best thing to do for a sore throat is to drink some honey and lemon.
If you rubbed your finger on the edge of the table like this for a long time, what would happen?
If I rubbed my finger on the edge of the table like that for a long time, I'd get a sore finger.
Design. Tell me the name of a company that's famous for making beautifully designed products.
The name of a company that's famous for making beautifully designed products is Apple.
Idiom 30. Keep your fingers crossed equals wish for good luck. What does the idiom keep your fingers crossed mean?
The idiom keep your fingers crossed means wish for good luck.
Give me an example, please.
It's quite a cloudy day for a picnic, so we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed it doesn't rain.
Is it the custom in your country for people to cross their fingers when they wish for something? If not, what do they do instead?
Yes, it's the custom in my country for people to cross their fingers when they wish for something.